So, what really happens when the world ends? Well, today we're looking at two stories with two profoundly different answers. One version is this crowded, chaotic, desperate fight for the future of society. And the other? It's a quiet, lonely encounter with the end of humanity itself. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? After everything collapses, what's the point? What is driving the last people on Earth to keep going? Is it some kind of hope for a better future? Or is it just raw fear?
And right here, you see those two answers side by side. On one hand, you have this desperate plea to get back into the system, right? Emergency asylum. It's a fight to hold on to some piece of society. But on the other side, you get this chilling final statement. It's not about saving society anymore. It's about facing the cold, hard fact that there's nothing left to save.
Okay, so let's dig into our first big comparison, the world itself. Because the setting in these stories is practically a character. Is it a loud, dangerous new world, or is it a silent, empty, old one?
In our first scenario, the world is totally transformed, but it's still recognizable. And this line, wow, it just grounds you. They're not on some alien planet, they're in Liverpool, but it's a Liverpool that's been swallowed by the sea. The world is broken, for sure, but it's still full of people who are scrambling through the wreckage together.
Now just flip that coin completely. The shock here isn't a drowned city. The shock is seeing another person. The entire world isn't defined by chaos and noise, but by this profound, crushing silence. You know, the world hasn't just been destroyed, it feels like it's been emptied.
And the nature of these settings, crowded versus empty, that directly shapes the human element. How does having other people around, or not having them, change the game of survival itself?
And when you lay it all out like this, the differences are just stark. In the crowded world, your biggest threat is other people. It's social collapse. The motivation? It's all about protecting your family, which leads to this constant us versus them mentality. But in that solitary world, the threat is existential. It's the end. The motivation is to find some kind of purpose, and the conflict is entirely internal. Me versus destiny.
For the group, survival is basically a to-do list for the apocalypse. Find food, check. Find shelter, check. Avoid the violent mobs, and get to London. It's a physical journey, right? It has a clear destination. It's all about getting from point A to point B without being killed by someone else who's just as desperate.
And then you have this. There's no checklist here. Survival isn't a physical journey, it's a philosophical trap. The fear isn't about finding food or fighting off bad guys. It's about the very idea of living versus dying. The whole conflict is in his head. He's not trying to get to London. He's just trying to figure out why he should even exist.
So how do these completely different struggles actually end? Well, the climaxes couldn't be further apart. We go from a frantic, violent mob trying to smash through a gate to a quiet conversation that's literally going to decide the fate of all humanity.
So in this first one, the climax is just a brutal breakdown of all the rules. They do everything right, they get to the bunker, they have the badges, but in this new world, the rules don't matter. They're arbitrary, they're cruel. One badge, one entry. The very system they were trying to rejoin just violently throws them out, and their whole search for safety completely dissolves into chaos.
And this is what it all leads to. That shout, "Close the gates." That's the final nail in the coffin. It signifies the ultimate failure. It shows that when resources get scarce, humanity just turns on itself. The biggest danger isn't the disaster that ended the world, it's the other people trying to survive it. Now, the other climax couldn't be more different. It's not about a physical gate. It all hinges on this one single word: purpose. This isn't a fight for entry into a place, it's a confrontation about the reason for existing at all.
And this is just ice cold. The final showdown isn't with some panicked soldier at a gate. It's with a being whose entire job is to, well, end things. And this just reveals that the man's survival wasn't some lucky break. No, it was just an anomaly, a job left unfinished.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to these two final pleas. One is a plea for a place, for a future, for London. The other, it's a plea for just a little more time. Not to get anywhere, not to achieve anything, but just to be. It's a plea for the process, not for the destination. All right, so after all that, what do these two endings really tell us about the nature of survival? Let's try to boil down the key lessons from these two very different visions of the apocalypse.
So the lessons are pretty clear, right? In one world, your biggest threat is literally your neighbor. In the other, it's your own sense of meaninglessness. Survival can either be this desperate physical sprint against chaos, or a terrifying quiet debate with destiny. At the end of the day, the apocalypse forces a choice. Are you fighting for the group, or are you just fighting for the idea of your own existence?
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. What is the real goal of survival? Is it just about making it to the next safe